I want to thank the school. I want to thank SACI. As always in these graduations, every time that I'm here, and I'm here from the first one, I do, because it's always a challenge for me, and it's always something that I am grateful to do. Because every 2 years, I learn something new. And every 2 years, as I'm not an artist, but I'm a curator, I learn how to deal with artists and different processes in a better way. This 2-year program is intense. It's intense in experience, it's intense in cultural gap that the students have, whatever part of the world, not just aside from Italy, they come from, because they really experience this, and they experience a richness, and they experience Europe at large. We bring them around, we go to art fairs, we go to exhibitions, we go to churches and museums, and all this is something that it's hard to digest, and so these 2 years are full. No? They come and they have a first year of like amazing, difficulty and experimentation, and then a second year in which they try to find their own voice, and usually this magic at the end always happens. This year we discussed with Felipe extensively by having, before the final show, by having another part of the course, which we discussed also with Pietro, which is my colleague in the second year course, which was meant to train them to be artists even more, by doing a solo exhibition, by confronting, getting out of the studio, confronting with the space and with all the challenges that an artist's life needs. Each one of them did, and did a very good job, and each one of them was much more ready to get to the final show, which was a success, as you all commented. So I do teach in both years, so I stay with them like the whole time. And yes, I could cry too. But I have to speak about Victoria and about Dexter. And what I have to say is that Victoria has been a very optimist and intelligent presence all throughout the 2 years, very pushing to have the better experience, to look for the good side. And what I think she did is to really make these 2 years worth it. Being in Italy for her meant to dive into the language, the culture, the artistry, learning Italian, and being able to work and listen closely to her professor and to the artist that she needed and she chose to work with. So she made this experience something that will never leave her. So her sense of line, of preciousness, of clear, of space, of building a space with a precious and religious sense has grown since the first time, since the beginning that she has come. Again, because of this, we're surrounded by gold, and because of the precise attention to the detail that Victoria has. So I'm sure that she will continue, that she will continue to learn, to listen, and to be able to take what it's given as a gift to her and make it, worth it into a very particular and singular and important experience. So I am sure that you will be, growing even more in your future life. And about Dexter, what can I say? She's a very gentle and very precious human being, and we have worked together since the first year, and I have learned to meet, her world, her imagination, her characters who are populating her art, so much inspired by artistry, so much inspired by comics, so much inspired by several and very different origins, and yet so intensively with the need, with the urgence of coming out and find a new generative world, to create a new world, a new universe. And you did create a new universe. We all have seen also a globe, no? In her final show, or a cloud that we were immersed in the solo show. I think that Dexter came back to Europe where she belongs. I think you totally belong here, for the history, for all the literary reference that you know, for the books that she bought. You know, we've been around, and entering her studio was like a wonderful and magical place where you could find, you know, fairy tales from the 1800s bought in England, or, you know, a comic book from Japan, or, I mean, it was always amazing. And for me, who I don't have this, you know, generative imagination, it was always a marvel, no? To listen to her story and to see those characters coming out, you know, in the canvases or in the drawings or in the preciousness of, you know, using the watercolor, you know, and thinking of the old Japanese ways of, you know, underlying just a line, no, in the paper. I know you're an artist. You've always been since you came here, and I am sure that you will continue, and you will build new worlds that people will, you know, learn to know. Thank you.